Welcome everybody to match number 2 in week number 2. For the CCA league. I am DRF joined by Mulligan, and we have a Division 7 showdown for you all tonight.
Yep, right now we have the University of Idaho with the Varsity Vandals going up against Cal State University Long Blue in CSULB Blue. A little bit of a mouthful. Both teams are coming off a week 1 loss, and they're trying to bounce back here for the week 2 matchup.
Don't worry, it's a mouthful if you're not from California.
Yeah, well, I'm in California right now, but normally from Boston. I'll figure it out. I might just resort to calling them blue. We'll see, but you know.
Yeah, hey, all of it works. Long Beach, CSULB, Blue, however you want to take it. This is going to be a good matchup for both of these teams. Like you said, painting the picture here that both of these teams, coming off of those losses, looking to get back some momentum here in week number 2. So I'm excited to see these two teams face off. Vandal Varsity, one of our newer teams here at the CCA, they made their debut last season in that CCA circuit. So I'm excited to see how they continue to do in this league format. It's always super exciting to kind of get new universities, new perspectives. But nonetheless, we are ready to dive into game number 1, which will be Clamblitz on Museum de Alfonsino. So let's go ahead and dive on in and take a look at what these teams bring into action.
Yeah, Clamblitz, a very controversial game mode in this game. I know a lot of people who love it, a lot of people who hate it. Where do you stand on the issue, personally?
Clamblitz is the second best mode in this game, and I think that's, and I speak with from a very objective point of view.
Objectively,
yes, it really is the second best mode. It in terms of the maps that are just competitively viable, there's so much more options in Clamblitz than Tower and Rainmaker, and when especially you start talking to high level gameplay as well, folks are trying to bring Rainmaker out of the competitive rotation. So Clamblitz really, I think, it actually does come down to being the second best mode for the game right now. But all that to say that these two teams are diving into the fight to start. A couple of specials ready on either side. Both teams just playing a little bit passive to start, just kind of waiting to feel out their opponents.
Varsity Vandals, they got the football right now, but they're down in numbers. Will they even it up right now? Oh, and that's a big 2 push. They're going to have to decide where they're going to want push. Are they going to go for the center? Or are they going to go for the side? Either way, a little bit tough.
Yeah, and both teams just continuing to just feel each other out. You're only really seeing a pick here and there. So in a way, I almost kind of expect that out of these two teams, especially coming off of those early losses in Division 7. You want to just be a little bit cautious. So I think that the way they're playing is very natural from where they're coming from. But I would love to see one of these teams really kick up the intensity, because I think just bringing out a little bit of extra aggression, whoever's going to be able to do that first here is the team that's going to get the upper hand.
Yeah, personally, I always love playing aggressively. You can't win passively. You have to throw the football to score, and if you're not playing aggressively, you can't be scoring. So I always love playing aggressive, and we'll see how each team approaches as the game moves on. Almost 2 minutes into the match, and not even a score by either side.
Yeah, but Vandal Varsity does have 2 power clams to their name, where Long Beach Blue currently struggling a little bit to build up that clam economy. We do see Leaf make the jump.
Now they're making a push right now.
Oh!
Oh wait, sorry, I got the mix up. I got the wrong side of the map. I thought they were pushing to score. That is my fault. That is the thing, they got 2 blitz, they got 2 clams, but they're only playing in their center. They're not really pushing for mid. They're not pushing to score. Blue on the other side, they're controlling mid and they're taking the push. However, they don't have the clams to score.
Yeah, it certainly seems to be the case here, as Vandal Varsity, if they can just survive the couple of specials being launched here, that 52 gal also going to be coming up with those whales soon enough. But Vandal Varsity continues to play really passive. They have an opportunity with these 2 power clams, but they are going to lose 2 of their members. But they do have 3 specials online. They're going to go ahead and launch the first one here. The second one's going to go out as well, able to pick off 1 member, 2 members. That's going to be a trade there as well. But nonetheless, Vandal Varsity pushed back to their basket.
They're not doing anything. Getting kills is great, but when you're not pushing, it doesn't really help. Again, you have to get the football in. You have to be aggressive. And I'm not loving the passiveness right now from the Vandals.
Yeah, it's certainly going to leave a little bit to be desired here, but nonetheless, they are slowly working their way up. I would love
Oh,
to
they're
see
making the
a
push right
nice
now.
play here.
Placement using the special. Oh,
look
and a
at that,
three
the
kill! Oh my
triple!
god! Well, you know what? Let's see, can they capitalize on it though? And they will.
Here it
The football's
goes.
being broken, and the seal is. I mean, that's gonna do a lot of points being scored.
Yeah, that is a massive point explosion. That will be the end of the push, though, as 3 members of Vandal Varsity goes down. So, Long Beach Blue looking to respond here. The roller going to be taking an aggressive position up on that ramp. If they can find a couple of picks here alongside the specials, they could have a solid retaliation, but there's no power clam built yet. They're going to have to pass around some clams, but getting these picks is a great start.
Now, I want your opinion on this, because whenever I play Splatoon, it drives me crazy. When a team, right after they get scored, the power clam spawns in your base. I absolutely hate it when people immediately pick up the power clam. What are your thoughts on it? Because I think picking up the power clam and you're wasting a freebie, there's a lot of strategic play that I think goes into play when you don't take it. And obviously, obviously right there, Blue takes the power clam and they lose it with the squid jump. I don't love the squid jump where they did it because you're not close enough to the actual goal to be able to throw that in as soon as you land.
Yeah, and those are the types of little mistakes that you're gonna see here at the Division 7 level. But everybody is definitely starting somewhere. A lot of times these teams at this level, this is their first time playing in a more organized competitive setting. So there's a lot of growing pains when it comes to understanding some of the communications when it comes to picking up the pity clam and making a move with it. Like you said, that jump came in a little bit early, so I think just a bit of patience from Long Beach Blue could go a long ways, as Vandal Varsity is going to run out the timer and claims game number 1. Wow.
And you know what? They did it decisively. I mean, maybe not of controlling the middle at first, but that one push that they did, that was all they needed to go in there and get the points to take the lead and win.
Yeah, it definitely was a bit of a stally match for the first 3 minutes before we saw the Vandal Varsity, the splashdown, the triple splashdown got the triple.
True.
It's very fitting.
Now, I will say this much. Sorry, excuse me. I will say this much though. Blue did a really good job with the retaliation. They were able to make a quick push and be able to really get into the other team's base and get so close to scoring, but they just couldn't do it. And because of that, they were not able to make that comeback. But I didn't hate what they were trying, and it was very, very close. If they were able to maybe get 1 or 2 more spots here and there, they could have been able to break that barrier. And I do think the first barrier break is the most important in Clan Blitz because you don't get a penalty, and every score that you get is just pushing down that 100 point, whatever you call it. The 100 points is going down, and you don't get the penalty. So the first break, in my opinion, is the most important.
Yeah, and it really does kind of, in a way, when you do get that first break, it's almost like just a sigh of relief that, okay, we're on the board, we have an opportunity here. And Vandal Varsity really took advantage of the one opportunity that was presented in this game for either team to score. And now Vandal Varsity has their first game of the season. So they definitely are going to give themselves just a bit of a sigh of relief that, okay, we got shut out last week, but we're on the board now. So we can hang here with these teams in this division. Long Beach Blue going to be looking to kind of have that same bit of relief come through in this next game as we look towards Splat Zones on Umami Ruins.
Yeah, talk about Varsity Vandals. Before going through this game, they told us that they were terrified. They played very competitively last week, but they couldn't get a single game. And I mean, after winning your first match of the entire season, I don't think they're terrified much longer.
No, and I think the other thing as well that's going to be worth noting here is that these two teams are running 5 deep rosters today. So they are going to have a fair bit of, I guess, options to work with.
A lot of rotations, probably a lot of fluidity with the weapons that people are using. It will be interesting to see whether or not they're going to do, constantly switching up their weapons, or if they're going to, try to play a little bit more consistently, and we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the roller pick in that last one as well. The roller and the end parries actually were probably the 2 weapons that stood out to me most in that last game that came up with a couple of big plays for their respective teams. And I would love to kind of see those stick around because those were the 2 types of weapons that were getting those opportunities open for their team to score. Now, obviously, with Splat Zones being on deck here, it is a little bit of a different game, especially in a 2-zone map where you're gonna have to be managing the space on the map. Yeah, with both zones, you're gonna have to be managing that a little bit more. It's gonna require a little more communication. You can't just kind of, throw spaghetti at the wall to see if it sticks.
Yeah, and Splat Zones is a really interesting mode because it's every team I see kind of takes a different approach. Do you try defending mid? Do you try just pushing into their base? And we'll see, especially with these Division 7s. Splat Zones, I think it's kind of the game that goes most back and forth between both teams, where one team takes the zone and then they get wiped and the other team takes the zone. I'm expecting a lot of back and forth in this match.
It certainly could happen, as these teams have figured out their substitutions. So we are getting queued up here for game number 2. Going to be interesting to see how the different composition adjustments are going to come in. I love when teams have subs at the ready and they utilize them, because this really turns it into a chess match as you try to figure out how you can bring in your other members to best counter what's going on the other team.
That is true. You never want to be too predictable. You never want to be running the same thing over and over again, unless maybe you do if you're really good. But having that element of surprise is always something that's really interesting, especially during these first few matches where somebody's coming into the game. You don't really know exactly how they're going to play. You don't know if they're going to take more of an anchor position or if they're going to be more aggressive. And that's something that if you're heading into this first and second game, it's something you really have to keep an eye out for, especially for those subbing in. We will get started.
So we do see the Roller and end parries come back for Long Beach Blue. You know what? I realized that the end parries are being played by a player named Mberry. So I have a feeling we're going to be seeing the end parries all set long.
Yeah, that is true. It looks like Long Beach Blue taking first control of the zone, getting first splat of the game, but not being able to take control, as looks like the Vandals are making a bit of a push, and they will get first control of the game and get that timer down with a nice little 2-kill right there. And they are backing up right now. We'll see what they do. Looks like they are getting their specials ready and maybe trying to make a little bit of a push towards the middle.
And Long Beach does have 3 specials at the ready. The bubble is going to come out. That's going to be a nice pick there to try to swing the momentum back in Long Beach's favor. With the Roller, could just get a couple more flicks on that left zone. There it is. And they do gain back control of this zone. But Vandal Varsity already chipping away at the zone. Here comes the Reef Slider as well. And that's going to be 3 down. Make it a wipeout.
Yep, that will take control very quickly. Now, this is where things get interesting. Are the Vandals going to control mid, or are they going to go push towards the center? It looks like they're going to take a little bit more of an aggressive route. Oh, but that is a quick, nice placement of the Splat Bomb, and we'll get it. Looks like they are losing numbers, and KSU's making a push back to center, and they're using their specials. Like I said, the thing with Splat Zones, especially with newer teams, it can be a very back and forth match.
Certainly, as these two teams continue to play with some neutral zones here. Long Beach regaining control once again. Vandal Varsity gonna take on a little bit of a fight there in that left zone, trading out. Roller looking for the Tri-Slosher, but not going to be able to find anything there. Tri-Slosher caught in no man's land. Gonna have to try to get out of this one. They did grab the soda in time, so they will be back in action pretty quickly, but their teammates will not, as Long Beach holds control of these zones, forces the wipeout, and gets the lead.
Yeah, Long Beach Blue taking a different approach where they were more controlling center, and it seems to be working well for them, but looks like right now they're actually taking an aggressive approach and trying to get into their base. And, well, it looks like it did not work, as they are now down 3-1 in numbers. And Varsity Vandals are probably going to be making a push right now, take back control. And yes, they do. Varsity Vandals in control right now. And this looks like this battle is going to be heading towards mid. We'll see who wins.
Vandal Varsity slowly working their way back into the zones, stopping the bleeding while they can, but Long Beach doing everything they can as well to hold on to these zones. 2v2 situation as we pass the halfway mark of this game. What? Did the Sprinkler get the kill?
Was that the Sprinkler? I assumed it was the Wave Breaker, but it might have been the Sprinkler.
Oh, maybe I was probably the Wave Breaker. It had to have been the Wave Breaker. I just saw the Sprinkler get thrown. I was like, there's no way.
And it looks like Varsity Vandals taking control of the center. I'm going to be very interested to see what Long Beach Blue does in retaliation. Or like I was saying earlier in the match, they were able to get the wipeout when they were controlling the middle, and then when they made that aggressive approach, that's where they kind of got swept. And it's something that maybe will they be do you think they're communicating that right now, that if we get control, let's keep the middle instead of being aggressive?
Yeah, that's certainly a conversation that they could be having here. Because you want to definitely take the fight to the enemy base, but you don't want to overextend yourselves. As we're now starting to see Vandal Varsity, they're actually doing a pretty good job of that. They're keeping themselves in an aggressive position, but close enough to mid that they can keep control of the zones. And yes, they did get control of the lead, but Long Beach has 3 specials at the ready, so they're going to give us one last effort.
Yeah, once you get down to the 10 points, you just got to push. You got to use specials. You got to do everything you can to take control. Oh, and a 3-kill right there by Long Beach Blue. And they looked like, oh, wait a minute. We're seeing a little nice move by Temple, getting 2 splats right there. Oh, but it is not enough. Long Beach Blues taking control of the center. And this looks like this might be their last push. There's only a minute left in the game. And with the Varsity Vandals at 6 points left, overtime in this game, favors whoever's in the lead, without a doubt. Especially with a lot of specials that can just outright take control of zones. But, as a 2-zone map, we'll see how that comes into play.
I was going to say, the 2-zone map really does put overtime a little bit more into question. It's the advantage really kind of goes to whoever has control in overtime, whether you're in the lead or not, unless you're, of course, trying to, start at 100.
That's true.
To try to knock out. Then you're really in for an uphill battle no matter what position you're in. But nonetheless, final 10 seconds here. Zone control is in favor of Vandal Varsity, but Long Beach Blue trying to paint these zones quickly to get one last chance at possession here, but they're not going to get it. Oh, Vandal Varsity takes the 2-0 lead in what has been a competitive first 2 games nonetheless.
Yeah, and if you're Long Beach Blue, definitely not somewhere, that's not a game that you still haven't won a game this division. That's what I was trying to get to. Especially they were very close right there. They had control of center and they got the wipeout, and then they kind of overextended and almost costed themselves the match because Varsity Vandals pushback was able to get control and take the lead. What do you think is going through Long Beach's blue mind right now, heading into this 3rd game with tower control at Mako Mart?
Great question. It's definitely a lot of questions of, okay, what do we need to do different? And that is the question they should be asking themselves. These first 2 games have not gone the direction they've wanted. It's a best of 7, so you have a little bit of time, but you don't have a lot of time. Being down in an early 0-2 hole, it's doable, but you need to figure out really quick what is the answer to the way that the Vandals have been playing, which has been a very relatively unified front. I think they've done that Vandal Varsity in particular has done a great job of pushing up when they can to just hold those front lines. And it's been really difficult for Long Beach Blue to get in, and they've had to utilize 3 specials almost every time to get back control of the zones. So it's definitely a little bit tricky, all things considered. I would like to see Long Beach Blue find a way to the breakthroughs that they had to get back into the zone were great. Now the question is, how can you replicate that on the other end to hold the zones for a longer period of time, or hold the objective for a longer period of time?
Yeah, we'll be heading into tower control. This is going to be an interesting tower control. I'm not a big fan of this map on tower control, simply because of that first checkpoint. It just can feel like a nightmare to push through, and then once you push through it, it feels very, between checkpoints 1 and 2, it kind of feels like very freeing. You can get a lot of points very quickly.
Yeah, and I really think that that's where the game is going to be won and lost here, is between checkpoint 1 and checkpoint 2. The team that manages that segment best is ultimately going to win, especially because of how conservatively these 2 teams have been playing so far. I don't anticipate this being a very high-scoring affair. So those points between checkpoint 1 and 2, like you said, are going to be very, very crucial. So I'm going to be eager to see, what kind of adjustments are made. I think the roller should be sticking around for Long Beach. I think that bubbler is going to be massive to try to force their way through checkpoint 1 and get the maximum amount of points. Whereas on the side of the Vandals, the Dapple dualies in that last one I thought came up pretty big. I would like to kind of see that return, see what sort of damage they could do there.
Yeah, and the thing about tower control is that it is a mode that you have to be able to position yourself carefully. And you have to be very, one of these things that I'm very curious to see is going to see who they have as the main person pushing the tower and what weapon they choose to represent the tower in a way, if that makes sense. Because the tower is something you have to defend. You have to defend the tower and you have to push the tower. And I think the person you put on the tower is really important. I don't know if that made any sense, but...
No, you're absolutely right. Whoever is riding the tower, it tends to be the backline. As we see the Vandals pull up a composition that I think this is a unique composition. I don't think anyone in the history of Splatoon has played this composition. I'm gonna be completely honest.
But you know what?
I am all for it.
Yeah, this is what I love about lower division games is that who cares about composition? I'm good with this weapon. I'm gonna use that weapon, and I'm very excited to see how this match plays out.
Yeah, I mean, just the guts it takes to pull out a GooTuber. If you're gonna do it, Makomore is actually the map to pull out the GooTuber. Like, I will 100% agree with that, but I commend the guts that it takes to pull out the GooTuber in a very competitive Splatoon 3 set. So all the kudos to Vandal Varsity for this one as they run a double backline. Meanwhile, Long Beach is doing the complete opposite. They're running an ultra aggro comp. So I think they've recognized as well that the gameplay's been a little bit slow. Let's continue to play some aggressive weapons and just take the fight to them, especially now that Vandal's going to be a little bit slower with the double backline.
I was going to say, especially in Clan Blitz, both teams played very passively in that match. And, tower control, you can't play passively because the tower is forcing the aggression by pushing that payload closer to the other team's end. And we'll see how the teams adjust to that.
Certainly, as early on, it is Long Beach in control of the tower. They will get the first checkpoint, but Larcenist gonna be popping those missiles, trying to disperse the members of Long Beach Blue, and they do so for a little bit, but nobody from Vandal Varsity coming towards that tower to try to maintain control of the objective here, as Long Beach Blue is gonna actually keep this tower in an aggressive spot. This is exactly what you want to see if you are Long Beach Blue, is keep the tower in an aggressive spot, but I think they could have forced a couple more points out of there with the bubble, but I respect the recognition that you were alone. Let's go ahead and back this one up.
Yeah, that is true. It's definitely something you want to keep in mind as... Sorry, the Varsity Vandals getting their first points of the game. Only 4, though, as Long Beach Blue quickly taking control of the tower and pushing it down the map. As we see a few specials going right now. A lot of the fight happening at the tower right now. And it looks like Varsity Vandals are going to be taking control of the tower and making their first big push of the game. We see the GooTuber with a special. It kind of looked like that was the perfect opportunity to maybe rip it and play a little bit more aggressive, but he chooses not to. And they are backing up. I don't love the backup, especially on a map like Tower Control. They had the numbers, they have the specials, and they're playing a little bit too passively, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can certainly see that. It's definitely how these two teams have been playing. We continue to bring it up as it's a little bit of just conservative gameplay. Don't want to be the player to kind of dive in and make the mistake and force the stagger within your team. But you sometimes just have to kind of send it and just believe in yourself, believe in the team, as we're going to see Long Beach Blue here try to do just that. They're going to be moving up now that they have a bit of a stagger on Vandal Varsity, but Larcenist came up with a nice little pick there, trying to find another on Emberry, but Emberry's going to be popping that Booyah Bomb.
Yeah, definitely gonna throw in the Booyah Bomb on the tower. Oh, and they got 2 kills from the Booyah Bomb, I think, or just 2 kills in general. They are now reaching they're now at checkpoint 2 with the wipeout. We're gonna be able to take control of checkpoint 2 and get past it. One more checkpoint till they get the knockout. Only 1:30 left. Again, we haven't really seen any big pushes from the Varsity Vandals. If now, you gotta do it now.
But first they gotta stop this
tower. Well, it looks like they're gonna take it. It looks like they're stopping it, and they have control of the tower. Now, this is going to be interesting. It's going to be seeing how Varsity Vandals handle, this is going to be the very first push of the Varsity Vandals, and we're going to see how they can do that this game.
3 specials online for the Vandals. Pop the trip strikes, pop the cooler.
1 minute left
now has
in
their special
the game.
ready. So everything online for the Vandals, but all of it used just to get the tower back to neutral. So they're going to have to quickly rebuild something, but they actually did get 2 picks there, and Larson somehow survives the curling bomb. I thought for sure they were gone.
I always forget the Booyah Bomb is just not that good at killing, and, you know, kind of a prime example right there. They are now going to reach the first checkpoint, 30 seconds left on the clock. Are we going to see a last-minute comeback by the Varsity Vandals in this match?
Well, here's what Long Beach Blue needs to do at this stage. That T-Tech, Sammy, needs to stay back. Just paint up, hold the trip strikes. And that is going to be the key for Long Beach Blue here. You have a fantastic lead at this point. Hold on to it. Hold on to it. In 3, 2, 1, now you let those trip strikes rip. But they're going to say, hey, we already have the numbers advantage. We're going to be fine. There we go. Sammy lets it rip at the 1 second mark instead. So
I'm going to take a little bit of fault
end game
in that.
situation.
I'm going to take a little bit of fault in that. I said they might make a push, and then as soon as I said that, the person on the tower gets killed. That was a little bit maybe on my
commentator's
fault.
curse.
But if you're Long Beach Blue, very, very good match, and first win of the entire season for them.
Yes, both of these teams are now on the board. So that's got to feel good on both ends. You know, hey, we're now in a pretty competitive set when last week may or may not have been, you know, as competitive as they were hoping for. So these two teams have found their match within each other. And we have a tight set right now, 2-1 going into game number 4. So I'm excited to see how this chess match continues to unfold, but Long Beach Blue looked insanely good in this game 3.
That is true, and now we're gonna head over to the Rainmaker, the only Rainmaker of this entire set, as you know the maps. The
modes rotate.
Modes rotate. Thank you. I had on tip of my tongue.
Frequency.
Yeah, this is the week where we only have one Rainmaker map. And that's also one thing I'm a little bit nervous with Long Beach Blue. I really want to see them win this Rainmaker map just because they were not very aggressive on the first Clan Blitz map, and that will be the match that we go to after this Rainmaker as they have at least forcing a game 5.
Certainly. So if they win this one, we're guaranteed at least 2 more games. Vandal Varsity looking to bring themselves up to match point. But this is a little bit of an obscure Rainmaker map this week. We are doing Rainmaker at Marlin Airport, one that you don't see too often, but nonetheless, that's going to be your little bit of seasoning on the map list this week.
Personally, I know the set before this, they said they hated this match. I kind of love Rainmaker on this map. I love Rainmaker maps where you really have no other option to push. That little section where nobody can ink, or the section with the fan. I'm so sorry, I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, like, fan.
Yeah, basically, both of them are terrible options. It is really, really hard to get knockouts on this map, but personally, I love that. I love seeing matches go the distance, and I love seeing overtime comebacks. I think we're definitely going to go the full 5 minutes in this map, just because it is not a map made for knockouts, and the Rainmaker is also not it's not really a mode made for knockouts, just because the Rainmaker is really not that good of a weapon.
Well, I would disagree on your second point, but I do agree that this is a very tricky map to get a knockout on. You know, the Rainmaker is just one big special weapon. It just depends on who's holding it and how comfortable they are using it. Every team kind of has the designated Rainmaker main. so if the Rainmaker is in that person's hands, they're probably going to be in an okay spot. That tends to kind of lean more so on those backline players. So I'm going to be really curious to see who that designated player is for Long Beach Blue as they run another very aggressive composition.
Yeah, and we are starting this match right now, pushing towards the center. And first pop of the Rainmaker will go to the Vandals. They're taking a very aggressive route right now. And they're already picking up the Rainmaker. They're going to try just making that push very quickly, and they're going to get through that checkpoint. You know, they lost a lot of people on the way, but they got that checkpoint, and that's one of the things that's really important in this mode, is just breaking through checkpoints, especially that first one, because it just gives you a lot more option and a lot more maneuverability heading towards the end.
Yeah, the checkpoint here, definitely the first obstacle that these teams need to get across. It's simultaneously challenging, but it's also really close to mid. I think it's just the fact that the other team could kind of, you know, has a really strong overview of the checkpoint that makes it difficult to break through. But nonetheless, this is going to turn into a game of inches probably. I do anticipate Long Beach trying to come up with a response here sooner rather than later. But first, they have to stop this Vandal Varsity push as Leaf comes up with 2, trying to find the third. No, World of Sam.
World of Sam with the 3. That's my bad.
Well, World of Sam did stop the possible triple there, but now Long Beach Blue has an opportunity to respond. But no, I think the Vandal Varsity players snuck through to try to slow down the Rainmaker, and they did. Wow, what a big play there from the Vandals. And look at this.
Oh no, this is very interesting because I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think all of it Long Beach Blue, oh, they were not able to get that fan high enough. Never mind. I was going to say, I think all of them were in mid, and if they were able to get that fan up and just push, they could have scored a lot of points very quickly.
Yeah, but I think the Vandal Varsity team just, they would try to move too fast. You do need a good Rainmaker shot to get that elevator all the way up. And they didn't have the backup to go with them there, but Long Beach Blue now is going to respond here with the Rainmaker on the checkpoint, and if they could pick this up, they're keeping it a fan up high. If they could touch this Rainmaker, they're going to be in a great spot to get the lead, but of course, as I say that, we see an effective wipe, as it's only going to be Star that's actually going to be holding down the front line now. Templaro trying to get up onto the elevator to see if they can add to their lead.
Yeah, you know, there's only real one path. What I love about this map, which I know other people hate, is that there's really only one path to take. You know where your enemy has to go, and I think it really becomes a game of who can get who, and you know, how can you play the advantage. As we are looking at almost looks like a swipe, almost a wipeout by Long Beach Blue, and they're taking that fan, and it looks like they're going to take the lead if they can just maybe get past Temple right here, or Tempora. Looks like they are. And that's going to definitely take the lead for Long Beach. And now let's see what they do. Are they go up the ramp, or are they going to take the fan? They're going to go up the ramp. They're pushing up right now, and they're not going to get that kill because it's just a death ramp. There's not much you can do. You can take the wipeout, but people respawn so quickly. It is really hard to get a knockout on this board, but they got pretty much as close as you really want to get, and they are definitely in a great position to win this game.
Death ramp is the term that I'm going to be using from now on, because you're so right. It's really difficult to push up that ramp and live to tell the tale. But nonetheless, the fact that Long Beach Blue actually brought it all the way up to 19 points remaining is massive. Because, again, it's not really easy to get there. I love that the bubble placement by Leaf to ensure that their teammate was protected and was going to be able to get the lead, and they got so much more out of it. And now Vandal Varsity, with a minute 10 to play, needs to figure out what the response is, as Larcenist does have that Kraken at the ready, but needs to wait for teammates to get back into the action first before they can start pushing this Rainmaker, and it looks like they're going to be able to do just that. And of course, as I say it, the Rainmaker goes down.
Yeah, one of the things I don't love that Varsity Vandal is doing is that they're kind of just picking up the Rainmaker as soon as they pop it. And on a map like this, you really can't be doing that. You need that path cleared before you can take it. And it looks like Long Beach Blue having the Rainmaker right now, and they lost it immediately, my bad. And Rainmaker is now in mid. Let's see how they respond. Varsity Vandals, only one person alive, which is the E-leader. And that right there... Oh, I thought that was going to be a wipeout. I'm wrong.
World of Sam, though, going to respond with a pick of their own, but Long Beach Blue isn't done pushing just yet. Even though there's only 15 seconds left in the game, they're going to try to keep this Rainmaker in an aggressive position, but two specials come out to wipe out the entire Long Beach team. So Vandal Varsity is going to have one more chance.
I absolutely loved that smell. I love the game awareness of World of Sam right there, setting themselves up in a way to get a triple kill, I believe, with that splashdown. Maybe a double kill, but either way, they got the wipeout. But it will not be enough. Long Beach Blue will take this win, and we're now 2-2. Very exciting.
Hey, we are guaranteed 2 more games for these two teams. So I am excited for the both of them to be engaged in a very competitive set this early in the season, especially when it's your first league. You know, you're in Division 7, you're really just trying to catch your bearings. And now these two teams are in the midst of what's a set that feels like could go the distance.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot disagree with you. Now, this is going to be interesting because momentum is in Long Beach's blue favor, winning 2 in a row, but we're resetting, we're back to Clan Blitz, and that was the match that the Varsity Vandals won, and then afterwards we'll be going to Splat Zone, which is again another map that the Varsity Vandals won. So, do you think it's going to be? Do you think that Long Beach's blue momentum is going to be able to carry them through these next few matches, or do you think Varsity Vandals are going to get their bearings and we won Clan Blitz already, we won Splat Zones already, we can do it again, and that's kind of the mindset that they have to have heading into Game 5.
I certainly agree. That is the mindset they need to have. I think the tricky thing, though, is that for Clan Blitz, we saw both of these teams struggle. I think they would certainly agree with that. That that museum game, and of course it's Clan Blitz Museum, so inherently it is hard to score. Barnacle and Dime is still a little bit tricky to score. So I am a little bit cautious on saying that this game is gonna favor one team or the other. This is gonna actually come down to more so which team is able to get the upper hand early on, who is able to kind of get that first score going, because this very well could be another one-score game. I don't think so, because Museum is just inherently more challenging, but nonetheless, it's going to be very crucial for these two teams to get the upper hand early on to set themselves up for success, and whoever does that, in my opinion, is going to win this game and get the lead.
Yeah, one thing that I do think is interesting to note, during the first Clan Blitz game, Long Beach Blue, they kind of had control of the center and they had control of the base, but they just were not picking up the clams and they were not getting the power clams to be able to score, and that's kind of what costed them the game. While on the Vandals, on the other hand, they had the power clams, but they only kind of had control of their base until they were able to make that push. Obviously, 3 splashdowns all used at once, and that was able to get them the win. So it's going to be interesting to see how they adjust heading into the second Clan Blitz game. One thing I'd like to see from Long Beach Blue, obviously, if you have control of the center, go and get those clams. If you are the Varsity Vandals, when you have those power clams, you need to be fighting for position. But they were able to win the first game, so we'll see how that happens as we are heading into Clan Blitz once again. Barnacle and Dime, match 5, 2-2 set.
Okay, so seeing the double dualies out of Vandal Varsity, so they really want to hit the gas on this one and play aggressive. The Reef Slider Splashdown combination is certainly going to be hot to deal with. Meanwhile, Long Beach Blue continuing to play with a very familiar composition, one that's worked out for them these last 2 games, just to be a little bit more aggressive. Don't need the backline necessarily, just need to focus on getting a couple of more picks and playing a little more in your face.
That is true. Clan Blitz is kind of an interesting mode because it's kind of a mode where you don't really need your teammates to score. If you can kind of sneak your way through, maybe rat your way in, you can score without your team. But obviously you want your team to be around, as we see Varsity Vandals making a push right now. They have control of mid, they're trying to get some specials, and they might be scoring, taking a quick lead here if they're able to. But looks like Long Beach Blue able to hold them back, and I don't think they're going to be able to get those power plays back.
No, and they should just let them go. Don't try to force it at all. It was a nice look, but definitely it seemed like they were trying to brute force it just a little bit. So I think just a little bit more patience, wait to try to get another pick or 2 there, and Vandal Varsity is going to have a really good recipe for success. So now they're going to get the opportunity to reset here. The fortunate thing for Vandal Varsity is they actually didn't lose too much ground from what was a really big stagger here. And of course, as I say that, everyone's going to get run down.
Essentially a wipeout, as, like I said, Long Beach Blue, they have control of the center, but they need to be passing their clams around. They need to get someone to have the power clam. And they made a push, and it didn't work out. They didn't even have a power clam to make that push. And, Varsity Vandals are going to be able to pick up those power clams, and they're going to get some of their own. We'll see how this ends up playing out.
Yeah, 3 minutes left in this game. Familiar spot to where we were in game number 1. Neither team quite getting in the position to score. So this one is going to probably go for a little bit. Definitely starting to see glimpses of this could effectively be a one-score game. But Long Beach Blue in a great spot right now. If they can just find a pick. Leaf, though, going to lead the charge with a huge bubble.
And they're able to break that barrier. This is my question for you when you play Clan Blitz. When you break that barrier and you have clams, do you just sacrifice yourself and go for the points? Or do you try to maybe take out the other team to be able to get more points potentially in the long run if you're able to get those flags?
That's a great question, and that's something that teams have to ask themselves every single push. What is the situation? Do we just pile in everything we got, and even if it results in a wipeout, or do we continue to fight in hopes that we can get a prolonged push? And it seemed like they actually tried to do a little bit of both. They threw in what they had, and Leaf, I think, did a great job of holding down the bubble to try and get a couple more picks to extend the push. So they did get 1+5 there to bring the score down to 65. So a great push, and one that Vandal Varsity is going to have an opportunity to respond to here as Long Beach Blue goes 3 down.
Yeah, now is the time for the Varsity Vandals to take control of mid. You don't really need to get the power clam right away. You need to get control of mid and push Long Beach Blue back. With 1:30 left in the game, World of Sams using a splashdown. They're now up 3-1. Now is the time to make a push. They got to be pushing right now, but they are retreating. They're trying to get power clams.
Oh, yeah, just a little bit too patient. I agree with that, Mulligan. It just, they could have been pushing up a little bit more. Nonetheless, the clam economy is in their favor, but remember, when you hold those power clams, you're just a giant beacon of, hey, I'm right here. So they need to be a little bit careful, and they are now going to find themselves going 3 down. Templaro actually somehow gets out of that one. I am shocked.
Oh, it is...
Templaro's still alive!
Oh my god, yeah, with the squid, everyone knew where they were. They were the only one alive and just able to sneak their way around and keep themselves alive. I'm very impressed with that. Oh, but, and as I say that, once again, commentator's curse killed with a splat bomb. Things are looking like they're in Long Beach Blue's favor. They are up on the clam economy. They are up in the middle. 30 seconds left. Things are not looking good for the Varsity Vandals. They need to make a push, and they need to do it now.
Oh, and those trip strikes came in at a good time, but I think Templaro just got a triple. I think that's actually what happened, plus the jump out. The fact that Leaf got out of that was huge, but
yeah,
also,
very
I mean,
impressed.
big plays on both sides. Let's be completely honest. The fact that Templaro actually got a couple of those picks when things were looking really bad for Vandal Varsity, but Leaf got out and is holding on to that bubble, and now this should be it. Yeah, no power clam on the side of Vandal Varsity, and Long Beach takes game 5.
Yeah, I think Varsity Vandals at the end, they panicked a little bit. They realized they didn't have a power clam that wasn't going to take them to overtime. And I think they kind of each overextended, and Long Beach Blue able to get those splats and able to hold them back to take 3 in a row. Almost, down 2-0. Now looking for the 4-2 victory. Long Beach Blue, momentum's in their favor. They're feeling confident. And we'll be heading into game 6, which is splat zones. If you are the Varsity Vandals, mentally this is tough because you won the first 2 games, now you lost the 3. You're on the verge of losing your second match. What do you do? If you're the captain of the Varsity Vandals, what do you tell your team right now?
Yeah, if you're Vandal Varsity, you're basically just trying to keep everybody together, because to be up 2-0, it's a great feeling, and then to drop the next 3, your heart just begins to sink. The main thing is that you need to stay strong just mentally. Like, keep yourselves in it. Like, hey, we've been, beating these guys at, a number of different fights here. These games have been relatively competitive up to a certain point within that Tower and Rainmaker game, but Clamlets was competitive most of the way through as well. So you just need to kind of remind them, hey, we've already beaten them twice. We're going back to splat zones where we did beat them. So we're still in this. Like, this is our map mode. That's what you have to tell yourself if you're Vandal Varsity, and then deal with the tower control when you get there. You take it 1 game at a time, but you hype yourselves up and say, we are better than them.
Yeah, one thing that I definitely have been noting during these matches, I think the Varsity Vandals are doing a better job in terms of communicating and being able to make group efforts. However, Long Beach Blue, they've just been playing better in terms of they're getting the splats, and they're just getting the splats, and they may not have the better strategy, but I feel like they're more often than not kind of brute forcing their way into the victories, and that's kind of how they were able to win these 3 in a row.
Yeah, I mean, to a certain degree, they definitely found some good opportunities to kind of just, push their way through. Like, they were just trying to gain, like, yard after yard. Like they were just constantly going first down. And that's the way that Long Beach Blue has been playing, and it's been working. So that's something that they're going to continue to try to do here. It is Hagglefish Market, so there is an opportunity for them to kind of keep that same mindset of like, hey, just go first down after first down. Like where, it's going to be a little bit of a back and forth, but nonetheless, once we can kind of break through in front of the zone, and if we can find, 2 picks, we're going to be coasting and we're going to be piling up the points. So that's kind of the mentality I'm going to anticipate here from Long Beach.
Yeah, I think Long Beach, I think they picked up their kind of passiveness in the first 2 games. We saw with the tower control, they went with a very aggressive comp and they were able to win. And I think now they're like, well, if it works, it works. I think they're stomping on the gas pedal as we are about to get set for the next game in Splat Zones coming very soon. I said that a little bit too early. But that's the thing. They've been playing very aggressive, and that's what's been winning them the games. They're just winning off of aggression. And I think the Varsity Vandals, like I said, they've been playing these games very passively, and I'd like to see a little bit more of a pushback against Long Beach, especially heading into Splat Zones with, match point.
Well, looking at the keys to victory from Vandal Varsity, one of the things that they did say as well is that they're hoping to minimize trades. And I certainly agree with that because the trades in those last couple of games were entirely in Long Beach's favor. So not that they need to, because they've already been playing relatively conservative, but they need to try to stick together a little bit more, try to see if they can find some more 2v1 situations. And that's really what's going to help them propel forward as we dive into what could be match point. Long Beach Blue looking to try to close out this set.
Yeah, and we will get started. Both teams rushing their way towards the middle right now. And we are seeing dualies. How do you feel about the comps this game? Right now, it looks like Long Beach Blue kind of have the more standard comp. These are both pretty decent comps, though. There's nothing that... I think these are both pretty good comps.
Yeah, Vandal Varsity definitely coming out with a more unique composition here. A little bit of a, less tried and true composition, but it is working out in the early game as the heavy splatling is able to find a couple of nice picks, just able to utilize some of that range that Long Beach is continuing to lack in this one. But nonetheless, they're gonna have to just continue to try to work some of these corners, especially having the dually blaster combo. You're gonna have to just take advantage of some, quick move and utilize the corners to the best of your ability. There's plenty to work with right around the zone.
Yeah, in my opinion, it may not be the most traditional comp, but they kind of have each, each role, each weapon knows what role they're playing. As they were able to take it quickly, they're able to get down to 51 as they are pushing right now. And there is kind of a fight right now in the middle. Oh, that is not good. That is not good for the Varsity Vandals. They're down 3-1 as they need to make a quick push to stop Long Beach Blue from getting rid of their penalty and start scoring points on them.
Long Beach Blue does have 2 specials at the ready. That bubble is going to come out in the front of the zone, so that's going to be a huge position for them to hold. Blaster is going to try to play a little bit cheeky there, but no, it's the Reef Slider that comes in and does the damage.
Reef Slider versus
huge distraction tactic.
I was going to say Reef Slider versus Triple Threat. That is not going to win by the Triple Threat. I did not think, and obviously did not happen. That was a very, very important kill by Varsity because they were actually able to stop Long Beach Blue from scoring enough to take control of the game, and they are still in the lead, getting rid of the penalty right now, and they will be pushing down their points. Oh, a nice little sneak attack right there, and a bubbler. Obviously, quick death afterwards. Definitely not want to jump into that bubbler. It would be a quick death as we see Varsity Vandals making a push. And it looks like they're kind of taking control of this game right now. And, looks like Long Beach Blue kind of falling behind. They're going for sneak attacks. I don't love it. And I think, 10 points left. I think Varsity Vandals may be able to clean this game up.
Oh, a huge hold by Vandals right here, though. They're going to try to force this one, but Long Beach is going to try one last-ditch effort, and we are going to a Game 7 here in Division 7. Wow, what a game that was. The Vandal Varsity team, I thought in that late game situation, they had some excellent communication. It just seemed like the Blaster was doing an excellent job of trying to draw some attention, kind of peeked out, but never overextended and drew attention away from the dualies that came in with that Reef Slider. And even after that, the Tri-Slosher followed up to be in an aggressive position and got the one pick and tailed Leaf on the roller, who had been flanking all game. Said, hey, flank, 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 and everybody collapsed in to prevent Leaf from coming up with another big play. Vandal Varsity executed that late game situation to near perfection.
Yeah, I mean, like I was mentioning before the game, I feel like they have the better communication. They were just maybe getting outplayed in terms of the one-on-one weapons. And Long Beach Blue, at the end of that game, they tried playing flanks, they tried playing super aggressively, and it just didn't work out. Varsity Vandals able to hold on heading into Game 7. I mean, you love to see it. When do you not want to see a Game 7? The answer is never. You always want to see Game 7. Going into tower control at Undertow Spillway. Now, we'll see how this goes. Long Beach, they were able to win the first tower control game. And, this is kind of the thing. Anyone's game. It's anyone's game heading into this last match, though. Now, one thing with Varsity Vandals, though, they played very passively that first tower control game. And I'm going to need them to see a little more. I'm going to need them to be more aggressive. I mean, that first tower control game, they ended up only getting 6 points. And that's not going to be enough to win it. So I would love to see the Varsity Vandals play more aggressive with this tower control. What do you think?
Yeah, I certainly agree. Tower control just was not their mode in Mako Mart. Hopefully, if you're a Vandal Varsity fan, Undertow is a little bit more of their speed for tower control. So we'll kind of have to see, but this one can be really tricky, especially right around checkpoint 2. It's a really long checkpoint. But the one thing that Vandal Varsity has going for them is that they have a backline where Long Beach Blue doesn't. And that backline is going to be essential on both the offensive and defensive ends at checkpoint 2, given that it is a very long checkpoint and those ranged weapons really flourish in that position, trying to take that crucial point.
Yeah, I was hoping we were going to see the Rapid Blaster come into play, but it looks like they are choosing not to run that. And we are seeing another... This is definitely an interesting comp from the Varsity Vandals looking at it right now.
Yeah, double dapples is certainly something that you will not see in any other league. So I am all for it. They are cooking as far as I'm concerned. Where Long Beach is going to maintain their consistency. And that's one thing that's been working for them all set long, is they are consistent. They know what they want. They just need to figure out how to win some of these fights and play around the objective a little bit more. And as we start, it is
actually Ink Strike able to get 2 kills.
Power.
Yeah, taking control of the tower. Let's see what they choose to do with it. Oh, but they're starting to lose some one-on-ones. Blue up 3-2. No one's been able to really make a big push for the tower so far.
Yeah, and Sammy's looking to utilize these trip strikes to create some space around the tower.
That was, I was gonna say, I really like that run against the wall, go for the back line. It looks like it ended up working. Again, though, no one's, they're fighting for the tower, they're fighting for the center. No one's been really able to make that big push so far.
And the first checkpoint trying to fall, but neither team can get it. And this first checkpoint is one of the closest first checkpoints, but we're just on a seesaw right now is really what's going on. Like, this tower's just going back and forth between the 2 checkpoints. Leaf comes up with the bubble finally and breaks through checkpoint 1. We have a big breakthrough here, and Long Beach is in a great spot.
I was going to say, I was not expecting that. Leaf was the only one alive, but, the power of the bubbler is so strong, and looks like Varsity Vandals were just struggling to, because you got to ink that wall to get on the tower. He was struggling to do that. I think the bubbler was coming into play, and because of that, that was able to get Long Beach to break the first checkpoint. Although Varsity Vandals now on the tower, they're at the first checkpoint, looking to break it, and that's the first thing you got to do. You got to break those checkpoints.
Yeah, and they do get mostly through that first checkpoint. I thought they were going to break through there, but no. Going to fall a little bit short as Leaf, it does mow down the Splatling. And now the Vandal Varsity finds themselves at a pretty big numbers disadvantage. Templaro, the only member left standing, but they do have that Booyah Bomb at the ready to try to stall things out. Or sorry, the Reef Slider. Yeah,
that Reef Slider. The Splatling, they're playing a very aggressive route, and I'm not a huge fan of it. I noticed that they keep getting themselves stuck in the middle, running out, they run out of ink, and then they're kind of a free kill because you got to charge up your weapon again. I like them to play it back a little bit more, and I think it's kind of costing Varsity Vandals a little bit right now. But, did they break through the first checkpoint?
I believe they did. So now it's a tied game as far as checkpoints are concerned. Neither team has had a very big push up to this point, and that's going to continue to be the name of the game. Leaf the last one standing yet again, and Vandal Varsity is going to have an opportunity to respond. They should have a pretty open pathway here to at least get this game close to tie. Now the question is, will it be enough to get the lead?
Oh, just barely, not enough, as they are able to get the kills. They're able to take control of the tower. One of the things that I'm noting a lot right now is that the Varsity Vandals, they're up on numbers. They're getting the splats, but they're not taking the tower and they're not playing aggressive. And Long Beach Blue, they're one person that's alive. They're being able to hold back Varsity up until that the rest of their teammates are able to come back, which is kind of becoming this back and forth game. Like you said, a seesaw. In theory, I feel like Vandals should be winning by a lot, but they're not being aggressive enough and they're not taking the tower enough to take the lead, as Blue takes it and they're making their way to checkpoint 2 right now.
Certainly. So this is a pretty big lead now for Long Beach Blue. All things considered, that this game has been relatively low scoring up to this point. So that could be the difference maker now. But Templero's going to come in with a double. The trip strikes are coming out. But it looks like Vandal Varsity's retaliating with trip strikes of their own. This is going to be a very close game here as Vandal Varsity looks to take the lead. 45 seconds to play.
They're
Buckle up, folks, because we are going down to the wire.
Just barely! They were not able... Oh, wait. Okay, never mind. They were able to take control. Said that a little bit too soon. Varsity Vandals have taken the lead. They've broken through that second checkpoint. Long Beach Blue, 30 seconds left. Match on the line. They need this tower right now.
Vandal Varsity trying to take their first set of the season. They are on a path to do so. They have the numbers. They have the lead.
They have a bubbler as well.
To play.
The bubbler.
Oh, the T-Tech has the GG strikes, but they launch him a little early. But who knows? It could be enough of a wall.
I think they got it.
The 5, this one is over.
Oh my!
Vandal Varsity wins game 7.
I was counting down that timer. I didn't even realize that they were right at that checkpoint with a knockout victory. Varsity Vandals wins game 7. University of Idaho moving 1-1 on the season. That right there was exciting. Just the last minute comeback. I'm left speechless.
Yeah, honestly, coming into this set, I really wasn't sure what to expect, you know, from these two teams. You know, we kind of got bits and pieces of them from the fall semester during the CCA circuit, but you know, both were relatively new, just kind of really trying to get their footing. And now, you know, week 1 was a little bit of a stumble for both of them as well, but they got a really good matchup now. So at the very least, they could pat themselves on the back and said, hey, you know, we may have got swept last week, but damn, we put on a show today, going the full distance, win or lose. It's something to be proud of and hold your head high.
Yeah, I mean, both sides, that was very, very impressive. I think both teams, you know, they have things that they know what they need to work on going into next week. Varsity Vandals, I absolutely love the communication from them. You could tell that they were working together, and you can tell that, especially on the spot zone maps where I think communication is key, they were able to use that to their advantage to win those matches and ultimately come up 4-2. Long Beach Blue, I love the aggression, and they're winning, you know, they're winning their attacks, and that's something that is very important in this game. You know, if you have control of the numbers, you kind of decide where they get to go. Very impressive by their match. In the future, I think they need to work a little bit on communication, but I was very impressed by their outings. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if we see both these teams in the playoffs once it's all said and done. But sorry, I didn't realize I'm going to keep talking. My commentator just died, so it is just me now. I didn't realize that. So yeah, that was very interesting match heading into it. Just this is what I love about, you know, what I love about the lower divisions is that, you know, once you get higher up in Splatoon, a lot of people, it's kind of focused on what are the best weapon comps. And what's fun about the lower divisions is that you can see anything. I mean, Varsity Vandals, they played a very unconventional weapon lineup, but they were still able to win. And it's kind of what's fun. It's what I love is that about these lower levels is that it's not focused on weapons. It's just focused on winning, as they will move on to 1-1, representing the University of Idaho. Long Beach from the California State University heading 0-2. However, obviously, their week 1 set they went 0-4. This one they went 3-4.
It's progress.
Yeah, it's progress. Oh, you came
also,
back.
I'm back.
Okay, I was told to keep talking, and
yeah, no, we're all good. I guess my internet hiccuped there a little bit. Better me than the players though. Let's be honest.
It's true.
But nonetheless, very, very proud of both of these teams for the show that they put on today. Long Beach Blue, starting the season 0-2 is rough, but you're never out of it. We have seen a lot crazier things happen in the CCA. So you can always bounce back. You can always, take on these next 3 weeks. And we've seen 3-2 teams make the playoffs. Heck, we've seen 2 and 3 teams make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think
those are some special circumstances, but but 3 and 2 still doable.
Though, is that there's you're only playing against 6 teams, and you just need to get in that 3rd place position. Maybe get yourself into a wild card. It is not over for Long Beach. They're still very much in this. I mean, look at that set they just played, going down 2-0 and able to win 3 in a row for morale. Obviously, they weren't able to close it out in the end, but they didn't give up. That's the thing. They were down 2-0 and they didn't give up. They won on Tower Control. They won on Rainmaker. They came back and won on Clan Blitz, which is a map they originally lost on. This isn't a team that is ready to give up, and that's what I think one of the key takeaways they should be heading into as they get ready for their week 3 matchup.
Yeah, and as long as I've known the Long Beach program, it is a very scrappy program. They thrive off of, being the underdogs. So I look forward to see how this Long Beach Blue team is able to kind of take some mentorship from Black and Gold to, try to make the most of these next 3 weeks. So it's going to be fun, regardless for both of these teams. Vandal Varsity now in a better position at that 1-1 mark. So I'm excited to see where they go as well. Cause I know that, like we said, they were terrified coming in. So the fact that they now have a win under their belt has got to feel really good.
Yeah, I mean, going through our notes, when we asked them what their mood was, the first thing they said was terrified in all capital letters. Clearly, I mean, they can't be terrified anymore. They win their first set. They're going 1-1 into week 3. I mean, obviously, being undefeated is the best, but being 1-1 isn't that bad either.
Hey, they'll take it. But nonetheless, that does wrap up this matchup, and that wraps up our CCA Friday night. So before we go, though, we have a very quick plug here for H-Town Splashdown. It is a LAN going on in Houston, Texas this weekend, I believe. Is that correct? I think it's this weekend. Oh, man. Is it tomorrow? It's tomorrow. All right. So, and they will have a collegiate side bracket. So there will be a number of your favorite Texas teams that are going to be coming out. Texas A&M, University of Houston, UT Austin, UT Dallas, I think are all going to be there to battle it out alongside the LAN championship qualifiers. You are not going to want to miss it. That is going to be streamed over on Splatoon Tourney, who is one of our streaming partners this season. So shout out to Splatoon Tourney and Falco for everything they do.
And not only that, we also have matchups tomorrow, 4 o'clock PST, 7 o'clock Eastern time. We have a Division 2 matchup and Division 7 and a Division 2 matchup happening tomorrow, right here on this channel, I believe. Am I correct?
Yes, that is the case. And that Div 7 matchup now has some very high expectations to live up to after what we saw tonight, Mulligan.
Yeah, I mean, I had to go in there, always be promoting. But that was a very exciting matchup. And
well,
not only that, though, there's also a match on Sunday at 5 o'clock Western, 8 o'clock Eastern. We have a Division 5 matchup, followed by a Division 1 matchup, and then a Division 8 matchup here on the CCA. And I believe there's also a game on 5 o'clock at the IPL, another Division 1 matchup. So,
yes, IPL, another one of our partners this season. So we gotta shout out all the partners here. Splatoon Tourney, IPL, ECAC for really making this season the best that it can be. But all that to say, Mulligan, thank you so much for joining me on the mic today. I will just applaud you for your CCA debut. So it was a pleasure to work with you. Go ahead and plug yourself. Where can the folks of our chat find you?
They can find me on Twitter at Mr_Mulligan, and I have a YouTube channel where I post kind of my short films in college. I definitely need to work on that a little bit, maybe post a little bit more. Or you can not follow me. I'm not a big self-promoter. But you know what you should follow is the CCA with matches coming Saturday and Sunday, as well as the IPL with the match this Sunday. I'm great at advertising other people, maybe not myself.
Fair enough. Very humble of you. For myself, you can go and find me on Twitter at DRF_Splatoon, Blue Sky DRF-Splatoon, and on Twitch, Triton DRF. But per usual, you can find me right here on the CCA channel covering all things Collegiate Splatoon. Thank you all so much for sticking with us on this lovely Friday evening. We will see you all tomorrow for some more CCA League action.
Yeah, we definitely, we pushed it like 3 times, so you better show up. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being here.
We've had plenty of great Splatoon locals that took place in 2024, spanning all across the United States. Champions have been crowned from coast to coast, the Great Lakes, and the South. These winners, however, never had an opportunity to face each other. What if in 2025, we took this to the next level? Introducing the Splatoon LAN Championship Showdown, a tournament where the winners of our favorite locals can face off in an online 8-team double elimination tournament. The best part is, you have an opportunity to play. In the early months of 2025, 8 locals will act as qualifiers for the LAN Championship Showdown, including Big Dapple in New York City, New York.
The game!
Bouillabaisse in San Jose, California. Chai Shoals in Chicago, Illinois.
Pretty hard though. Yeah, it's like that.
Gatorland in Gainesville, Florida.
It's just, oh, it's a wipeout, and that might be 8 points.
H-Town Splashdown in Houston, Texas. New England in Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh, they fell off the... Oh my god!
Sea Battle in Seattle, Washington.
It's a wipeout!
Sunset Surge in Arizona. Win at one of these locals, you get an automatic bid to participate in the LAN Championship Showdown in April 2025, streamed on Splatoon Tourney. Be on the lookout for advertisements from the local closest to you regarding their qualifier. Who will come out on top?
Good evening, Splatooners and Houstonians and all those watching.
Welcome back to S16 Splashdown here in downtown Houston, Texas.
Yeah, we've got a lot of travelers from San Antonio, Austin, and Dallas coming here to Houston for this local Splatoon event. And we are here today with a lovely collegiate bracket with 6 different teams from those 4 colleges here to compete in 3 rounds. We have UT Dallas, UT Austin, as well as 2 Texas A&M teams. And then we got 2 home U of H teams.
Who won?
UT.
UT? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
As they break the final checkpoint, it's just the ball point. They are rushing the towers.
On the
but
map,
not enough. Need to get kills.
I'm not
immediately.
sure. You're gonna have to fight through the trenches if you want to get all the way back.
There they will jump it. It doesn't matter. They're gonna jump. Oh my god. Uh-oh, you better watch for that re-slider. And he gets a triple. Squishy goes in, gets 1, gets 2. And a wipeout from the side of H-Down Rebels.
Oh, but that's 2 ways to get the momentum going. It's not gonna stop.
What an intense tournament. This high stakes, great games. It was just, wow, what an amazing tournament.
I think that the craziest set just happened.
A bit of an upset, you might say.
Is this gonna be it? They need 1 more, come on.
Oh,
There it
yeah.
is.
25, 1.0.
Mickey Mart were just KO'd.
They are indeed the real deal. Put some respect on their name.
Arclatex maybe now having a chance to win it all.
Beautiful match by Siku got kicked out.
Up until this point, everybody in here has been competing for something.
Try to run in right there, but picking on the flank. Somebody explain to me how he keeps getting away with this. Getting up there, look at them right behind, getting a pick out of your wall. Probably gonna get two. Oh my goodness! Gonna get another one. What a game! Hey, yo, Russell Wilson, they got up in the Rainmaker. It's just a splash. Siku got picked. Winning.
If you're in the area, make sure to check out the Discord of Houston Splashdown if you want to participate in this or just to watch us from home. We would really appreciate you guys coming out.
This has been Sunset Surge 2024. This has been the most hype I've ever been in a long time. Well, I'm happy to hear, man. I'm happy to hear.
Introducing the Splatoon LAN Championship Showdown. A tournament where the winners of our favorite locals can face off in an online 8-team double elimination tournament.
I think they get it. Oh, that's the game. That's monkey. Oh my god.
Introducing the Splatoon LAN Championship Showdown. A tournament where the winners of our favorite locals can face off in an online 8-team double elimination tournament.
Kicking down the clock, all four of them alive.
1,
Two
that's
picks.
it. But one behind the duelist. Can they get something too?
The best part is, you have an opportunity to play.
Oh!
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 That's all the marbles! Wake up!
Oh my god!
Oh, that's a lot of control. He might just get it here. They
Allowing them to take the lead.
barely. You're gonna get blocked by the fence.
You gotta go! No!
It's up to Red to recap the zone all on her own. And they get
Just
it.
like
Welcome back. Nobody's got down. The Zipcaster gets two. He gets two.
Who will come out on top? Introducing the Splatoon LAN Championship Showdown, a tournament where the winners of our favorite locals can face off in an online 8-team double elimination tournament.
And the try strike take two! With Kronos coming in and following up with the third, that is the wipeout going with 10